If you're a freelancer paying for your own health insurance and you're not stacking the self-employed health insurance deduction with your ACA premium tax credit, you are very likely overpaying by four figures this year. Not theoretical. Real money already spent that the IRS will hand back if you fill in the right line. CMS confirmed in their late 2025 open enrollment update that around 4 million Americans enrolled through the ACA marketplace last cycle, and a big chunk of them are self-employed. Gig workers, 1099 consultants, Etsy shop owners, the whole solo economy. And almost none of them know that the line they put their premium on can change the credit they qualify for, which then changes the deduction, which then changes the credit again. Yeah, it's circular. And the IRS knows it's circular, which is why there's a special worksheet most people never open. So if you bought your own plan in 2026, or you're about to during open enrollment, the next 13 minutes are the difference between a normal return and a return that actually reflects what you paid. Quick framing before I get into the mechanics. The self-employed health insurance deduction, call it SEHI from here on because typing it out gets old, lives on Schedule 1, line 17. That's the above-the-line part everyone keeps repeating. Above the line just means it reduces your adjusted gross income directly. You don't have to itemize, you don't have to clear the 7.5% medical threshold that crushes most people trying to deduct healthcare on Schedule A. It comes right off the top. And because it comes right off the top, it lowers your AGI, which lowers your taxable income, which can lower your QBI phase-out exposure, your Medicare IRMAA surcharges down the road, and, this is the part that matters today, your ACA premium tax credit calculation. Here's the catch the IRS buried in plain sight. To claim SEHI, the plan has to be established under your business. For a sole proprietor or single-member LLC filing on Schedule C, that just means the policy is in your name and your business showed a profit. The deduction is capped at your net self-employment income, minus the deductible portion of your SE tax. So, if your Schedule C netted $8,000 and your premiums were $12,000, you deduct 8, not 12. The other 4 is just gone for SEHI purposes. It doesn't roll forward, it doesn't carry over, it dies on the vine. That alone is a reason to think carefully about how aggressively you write off other expenses in a year where premiums are high, because crushing your net profit to zero also crushes your SEHI room. Honestly, I think most freelancers get this exactly backwards. They chase every tiny deduction to lower the SE tax bill and accidentally strand a much bigger health insurance deduction in the process. Now the ACA interaction. According to the IRS instructions for Form 8962, your premium tax credit is calculated based on your household income as a percentage of the federal poverty line. The lower your modified AGI, the bigger the credit. And SEHI lowers your AGI, so the more you deduct, the more credit you qualify for. But, and this is where it gets fun, the credit reduces the premium you actually paid out of pocket, and you can only deduct what you actually paid. So a bigger deduction means a bigger credit means a smaller net premium means a smaller deduction. The two numbers chase each other in a loop. The IRS published a specific iterative calculation in Revenue Procedure 2014-41 and reiterated it in the 2024 publication 974. Most tax software runs it automatically, but if you're doing this by hand or you're checking your preparer's work, you actually have to iterate until the numbers converge. 3 or 4 passes usually does it. Let me make this concrete because formulas are useless without numbers. Say you're a single freelancer in Austin, no kids, netting $55,000 on Schedule C in 2026. You bought a silver plan on the marketplace and the unsubsidized premium is $9,600 for the year. You estimated your income high at enrollment, so you got no advance credit and paid the full $9,600 out of pocket. At tax time, your initial AGI calculation before SEHI puts you around $51,000 after the SE tax deduction. That's roughly 340% of the federal poverty line for a household of one based on the HHS 2025 guidelines used for 2026 coverage. Under the enhanced subsidy structure that Congress extended through 2025 in the Inflation Reduction Act, and which, heads up, is currently set to expire for 26 unless extended, so watch this space, you'd be capped at paying around 8.5% of income for the benchmark plan. That's roughly $4,300, which means your premium tax credit is around $5,300. You paid $9,600. You get back $5,300. Your actual out-of-pocket is $4,300. That $4,300 is your SEHI deduction. Plug it back in, your AGI drops, your FPL percentage drops, your credit goes up another 100 or so, and you iterate one more time. End result, a deduction that saves you roughly $900 to $1,000 in federal tax depending on your bracket, on top of the credit. People miss this. They claim the credit and forget the deduction, or they claim the deduction off the gross premium and create a math error that the IRS will absolutely catch. S-corp owners, different game entirely. If you elected S-corp status to save on self-employment tax, the SEHI rules change in a way that trips up basically everyone in their first year. The premiums have to be paid by the S-corp, and the amount has to be added to your W-2 wages in Box 1, not Box 3 or 5, just Box 1. It shows up as taxable income federally, but it's not subject to Social Security or Medicare tax. Then you deduct it as SEHI on your personal Schedule 1. Net effect. It washes out federally, and you save the FICA. But if your payroll provider doesn't run the year-end adjustment correctly, and a lot of the cheaper ones don't, I've seen Gusto handle it cleanly, and I've seen QuickBooks Payroll miss it entirely depending on how it's set up. You lose the deduction. The IRS made this crystal clear in Notice 2008-1, which is old but still the controlling guidance, and they have not budged. No W-2 inclusion, no SEHI deduction. Period. There's a wrinkle for S-corp owners on the ACA that's even nastier. Because the premium reimbursement flows through your W-2, it counts as wages for the ACA household income calculation, which can push you over the subsidy cliff if you're close to the edge. I've seen freelancers convert to an S-corp to save $3,000 in SE tax and lose $6,000 in ACA credits in the same move. Run the math both ways before you elect. My take? If your net profit is under about $80,000, and you're getting a meaningful ACA subsidy, the S-corp election is probably costing you money, not saving it. Above $150,000, it almost always wins. In between, you have to actually model it. There is no shortcut. A few more landmines worth knowing about. Dental and vision premiums count for SEHI. A lot of people forget those. Long-term care premiums also count, but they're capped by age, and the IRS updates those caps every year. For 2025, the cap for someone age 40 or under was $470, scaling up to around $6,000 at age 71 and over, per Revenue Procedure 2024-40. Medicare premiums count too once you're 65 and still self-employed, and that includes Part B, Part D, and Medicare Advantage, which is huge for the semi-retired consultant. Crowd nobody talks about. What does not count? Any month you are eligible to participate in a subsidized health plan through your spouse's employer. Eligible, not enrolled. If your spouse's job offered family coverage in March and you turned it down, you cannot deduct March's premium. That eligibility test is monthly, not annual, and it's the single most common audit trigger on this deduction. One more historical note, because it explains why this is so messy. SEHI started in 1986 at a 25% deduction, climbed gradually through the 90s, and didn't hit a full 100% deduction until 2003. Congress bolted the ACA premium tax credit on top in 2010 without rewriting the underlying deduction mechanics, which is exactly why we ended up with a circular calculation that needs its own revenue procedure to solve. It's not your fault it's confusing. It was designed by committee across 4 different decades. What most people get wrong, and this is the line I want you to remember, SEHI is not a write-off you take after the fact. It's a planning decision you make in October when you pick your plan, in January when you set up payroll if you're an S-corp, and in April when you reconcile. If you're treating it as a line item your tax software will magically figure out, you're leaving money on the table. The right move is to project your net Schedule C income before open enrollment. Choose a plan knowing how the credit and deduction will interact, and document the policy ownership cleanly so there's no question at filing. I'm not a licensed CPA or financial advisor. This is general education for freelancers, not personalized advice. If this saved you even 1 hour of confusion, subscribe. I publish practical tax and money breakdowns for self-employed people every week, and there's a lot more like this coming. If there's a specific freelance tax question you want me to dig into next, drop it in the comments and I'll pull it into a future video. And if you want the spreadsheet I use to model the SEHI ACA iteration for my own return, there's a link in the description. This video may contain affiliate links. I only recommend tools I use personally. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.